Welcome everybody. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. We've got some great people on the line today, and I'm very pleased to be joined by James Edwards. Thank you first to Beatrice, who organised this webinar, as she organises all of our webinars. She's done a great job. First of all, for those of you who don't know, Attracts is a career site system. We work with companies such as Mitchells & Butler, Vodafone, S&C Lavalin Atkins, and Admiral as well. So today, I'm very pleased to welcome James Edwards. He's the Digital Attraction Manager at Mitchells & Butler. For those of you who don't know, Mitchells & Butler are one of the largest pub and restaurant chains in the UK, owning brands, well-known brands such as Toby Carvery, Harvester, O'Neill's, All Bar One, and Brown's, amongst many others. So James, yeah, your new career site went live at the beginning of this year. It's been an interesting 6 months to say the least. But you know, it's great that the pubs are reopening, and I think this is it's a great opportunity to now be thinking about talent attraction and the future of talent attraction. Now we're sort of like beginning to look more forward. So welcome to us to the session. Please, let's start by introducing yourself.
Yeah, so I'm James. I've been working for Mitchells & Butlers for just over 3 years now. So my role encompasses all the digital aspects of the candidate journey, the attraction. So that's everything from job board, careers website, ATS, and everything which kind of falls in between those on kind of in a digital kind of landscape. So that's kind of what I do. A little bit of background in regards to kind of M&B and how we recruit and kind of the volume. So we on average probably annually recruit probably about 30 to 40,000 people a year. We normally, in normal circumstances, we would probably have anything between 1,500 to probably 2,500 jobs live at any time. And that's across all the spectrums of kind of the pubs, head office roles, graduate roles, and also apprenticeships. So we've got quite a broad base of kind of what we do. So lots of moving parts, as you kind of expect.
Great, thanks for that, James. I suppose that the first question I want to ask you is, you really cast your mind back to the beginning of 2019 when we first met. What was the situation then? Because if I remember rightly, you weren't actually looking for a career site, were you?
No. So if I step back, probably about 2 years ago, we'd just implemented an ATS. We'd just done a creative project of refreshing our website in line with our new EVP. And then that all bedded in, and then probably about 18 months ago, we let all that bed in, and then we wanted to kind of just look at it with a fresh pair of eyes from a candidate experience point of view. So that's where the careers website was actually born from. So we did a candidate experience audit throughout the whole process, and we identified various issues with the candidate experience, various improvements we could do. The main bottleneck of everything was that our careers website at the time and the integration with the ATS just didn't work. We had some fundamentals which didn't quite work, and that's kind of where the candidate experience and the careers website project was born from.
So you mentioned there you weren't really, it was through the candidate experience piece that you identified an issue. When you started looking at the options, I suppose, what were the options available, and what were your objectives? What were the challenges you were trying to solve?
So at the time, we had a very much a standalone website. A lot of our traffic didn't actually go to our website. So that meant we weren't able to, I suppose, convert a lot of the traffic that we could, that we wanted to. They're my dogs, by the way, so I apologise. So the biggest part of it was, if you ask that again, DJ, sorry.
No, that's fine. As in terms of, when you looked at, you identified there was an issue. What were the challenges that you were looking to overcome? And I suppose what were the options that you looked at and what was available?
Yeah, so in regards to the biggest problem for us was visibility
Yeah.
across the. We've got lots of brands, and those weren't visible to a lot of our candidates. So the candidate journey before Attracts was very much the candidate may have found our job on Indeed, may have found our job on a different job board, and then they went straight to our ATS landing page, which had very limited branding. And you didn't interact with the brand, which was a real big issue for us, because we have a lot of power within our brands, and we like to cross-pollinate our candidates across those brands, but the setup previous to Attracts didn't allow us to do that. Also, a lot of the power was actually in the ATS's hand rather than our own hand. So we weren't optimized for Google for Jobs. We just weren't very visible. And I think when I had a look at the data, I think I think it was about 90% of our traffic before Attracts was actually going straight into our ATS. So that was, a large number of people who were applying for our jobs, weren't having a great candidate experience, and weren't getting familiar with our brand or being introduced to our brands, which we wanted to do. Now, they were kind of the biggest challenges. In regards to options out there, I think there's three different kind of careers websites, I would call it. You've got your bolt-on in regards to your corporate page. So that means that you're the onerous, it's very focused on corporate, and careers is just a small part of that. The second part is around, having a creative project. So having it really nice and glossy, lots of nice pictures, but actually when you dig down or start a experience as a candidate, it starts to fall apart. So you have a nice glossy website, and then you go to apply for a job, and then you get taken out to Taleo or something like that. And then the final one is Attracts. So you've got kind of a SaaS product which is all encompassing, and it takes all those technical aspects and all those creative aspects and kind of draws them all together in one system. And the big thing for us was we didn't want to have a creative project which was out of date as soon as it was built or launched, where with the Attracts and systems, such as the Attracts, built on a SaaS platform, it just allows it to keep updated, and it's just something that we don't have to worry about. So and the biggest thing that was kind of a selling point for Attracts, but also we wanted from a website platform, is that we had control over the look and feel, the workflows, all that kind of stuff. We didn't have limitations from our ATS pages or other things as well. So yeah.
It's a good point there. I think in terms of that I think that in terms of keeping on the latest technology, but also actually the ability for you to manage things. I think that's something that I suspect a lot of people in talent attraction feel they want more control. So winding ourselves forward, obviously the project throughout last year launched at the beginning of this year. What were the results you initially saw?
So we had a lot more traffic and a lot more engagement with our website. So I think before lockdown in February, I think we had about 300,000 page views, compared to probably about 20-30,000 pre the Attracts website. The main reason was that we had our own shop window, and we're appointing everything at our own shop window. We're fully in control of that. The page views and the volume of people interacting with our brand went through the roof, but also the conversion. So the conversion rates were around probably 50 to 60%. So every 10 candidates who were landing on our website were actually 6 of those were actually applying for jobs, which was great. That was up from probably, I think it was about 30% pre website, but that was still quite good with our older ATS page. But it's 3 more it's 30 more candidates out of every 100 candidates who come to our page, so it's a huge increase. And then just also the Google jobs and just the Google visibility shot up as well. Our Google job applications, I think, went through the roof by about 200%, I think. So
yeah, I think the Google for Jobs one has been mentioned quite a few times. I think you mentioned it there. I think Vodafone saw exactly the same when they went live. So yeah, initially, yeah, great success. Oh, he's gone.
Dog.
He's fallen off his chair. That's the trouble. The dogs always want to be grab the limelight. Mine's exactly the same. She's fast asleep at the moment. So yeah, obviously then when lockdown happened, we literally, if I remember rightly, went from 1,700 vacancies on the site, jobs on the site, to literally 0 overnight. But just anecdotally, the career site actually came into its own, didn't it, within the last 3 months?
Yeah, so there was kind of 2 things that we did kind of pre-lockdown, just kind of with the website. One was just changing the website to reflect the current situation that our pubs are closed and we weren't going to be recruiting for, we didn't know how long. We reflected that in all of our comms, and we were able to do that in a couple of days, just to reflect that. So a big change to kind of divert people away from searching for a job and more interacting with our content was taking the job search button away from our homepage, which drives a lot of kind of job searching traffic. And I think the one benefit that brought it to life for me was, previously, if we wanted to get something changed with our previous website, we had to put a support ticket in. We had to wait probably 2 weeks to get one word changed on a site, whereas we were able to kind of change everything really quickly and just really easily as well. So and then the second part was we utilized some campaign pages to also serve up key information to our internal staff, such as FAQs and kind of other key information to kind of support them during uncertain times.
No, I think that was something that nobody would potentially think of for a career site, but I remember the end of March, you very quickly set up some really good pages to help the employees. Well, looking forward, I think you touched on their campaign pages briefly. So yeah, looking forward, there's lots of talk about whether we're going to see a surge in job seeking. It looks like the dog's broken in again. A surge of job seekers, or whether we're actually going to see a drought. In terms of various theories exist. I think I've been looking at Google activity over the last week, and we're still seeing search volumes between sort of like 50 and 60% of what they were their peak in the last 12 months. And in certain areas, so for example, very relevant to your area in terms of chef jobs and head chef jobs in particular, are at less than 40% of the search volumes. So an agile approach is certainly something that I think people are looking to actually have. I mean, you mentioned there about campaign pages. How do you see the sort of like the career site helping you going forward?
Yeah, so I think, as you've kind of stated, I think it's a real unknown on kind of demand. I think there may be low competition for some time, but all of that is up in the air for every single sector, for every single company at the moment. But in regards to kind of campaign pages and allowing the careers website, just to work in our advantage. So if we know we've got a cluster of jobs, or we know we need to talent bank in certain areas, Attracts allows us to set up pages to kind of target those jobs. And also the other thing that a lot of people won't know about Attracts, which is a real selling point, is the kind of the is the content being focused towards certain people on the website. So if you're a chef and you've looked at a certain page, it'll serve up chef related content on other pages and kind of follow you around. Very similar to if you shop on Amazon and you've been looking at something, and it'll kind of follow you around on, on the website saying, have you thought about buying this, or similar jobs, stuff like that. So that has just that will really help us just remain agile. And again, just the ease and the simplicity of kind of working with the tracks in the back end, just in regards to setting up campaign pages will take a few hours rather than weeks, and it just allows us to just stay really agile as well, which a lot of our competitors and a lot of other websites can't do.
Yeah, I think that it's interesting, because one of the things that's, even if there's there is a lot of people searching, you've still got to be able to be found. Yeah, and that's one of the things I think is a case of be able to focus on particular areas. For example, you might get lots of people looking in London and towns, but actually, I think it's a case of you can adjust it in terms of if you need as you said, a cluster in a particular location, you need to recruit quickly, you can do that, which is really cool. You touched on obviously the ATS side of things. How do you see the two sites, the career site system and your applicant tracking system working closer hand in hand, in terms of some people use it for to literally log in, you apply, then you have to go through filtering questions. How do you see the two working together in the future more closely?
So an ATS shouldn't be candidate facing, in my opinion. It's called an ATS for a reason. It's it's an applicant managing system, opposed to anything to do with attraction, and they're not built for that very purpose. So we want the careers website, and this is what we're working through at the moment, should be live, hopefully in the next couple of months. But we're looking at kind of having a fully integrated ATS and careers website integration. What that means in simple terms is that you will apply on our careers website, and you will never leave our careers website. Your data will be passed over into the ATS, but everything will be, I suppose, white labeled, and you won't know there's an ATS in the background. So very much like if you're shopping on Amazon, you go to purchase something, you don't get taken out to the MasterCard website to pay. It's the same kind of principle, that we want to keep you in that Amazon platform or that careers website platform to do that transaction, whereas a lot of websites, they don't sit in that kind of in that area. A lot of websites have that nice glossy finish. You go to not even to apply for a job, you go to search for a job and you're already into the ATS, which they're just not candidate facing, and they're not candidate friendly. So yeah.
Cool. No, I think your analogy there in terms of making payments on retail and Amazon is a good one. I think it's creating a much more pleasant experience, more consumer experience. Just to finish up, in terms of, I suppose, looking forward, every business is going to be focused on in terms of costs. What do you think the value of a career site and a career site system is?
So it allows you to showcase your brand, which is a big selling point for us, and also a lot of organic traffic. So we won't need, we've already started to see more traffic come through Google, come through organic searches, come through content that we're generating to generate kind of candidates, rather than just relying on traditional job boards to drive traffic. Haven't got the data to hand, but I know in our top sources, a lot of those are kind of direct traffic now, all through our various brand pages. So it's just about having a bigger footprint on Google. You're easier to find, you're seen as more important, and the Attract system just allows all of that, really.
Yeah, I think you just said that visibility, and certainly with Google, I think, and it's not just about the brand. I mean, notice you it's the searches for particular locations. So for example, with you, I think the difference in terms of back in January, you were ranking about 36 keywords for chef job searches, anything to do with chefs, whereas in you're ranking for over 200. So it's like, your visibility, you said, is just increasing dramatically.
I know. I think our keywords on Google, so the visibility on Google, I think it went from about 800 keywords to around 3,000 with the new Attract website. So we were just ranking, and Google was seeing us a lot more. The other thing which a lot of our job boards, because we've got quite a vast number of vacancies usually, and we've got a vast number of brands, a lot of the job boards actually benefit from having our brands on their website and driving traffic to their site opposed to ours. So for example, one of the big benefits and cost savings going forward will be around kind of Google for Jobs. So we weren't optimized for it. So if you went onto Google for Jobs previously, a lot of our job boards were probably ranking better than us on Google for Jobs and benefiting from our brand. Whereas now, if you go into Google for Jobs, we're the first kind of source, we're the first kind of point of contact for Google for Jobs. So it's just much better that we're not paying job boards to kind of benefit from our brands to then send us candidates.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point to make there in terms of their benefit. At the end of the day, Harvester, Toby Carvery, All Bar One, all very well known brands. It'd be better to be. It's good that you're getting the traffic now rather than them. So that's been really, really useful. We've got a couple of questions. I think one is a question that often get asked. My job. We use. Got here just reading it through. We've got a really nicely designed career site, and then our jobs are on ITS. What really is the problem?
It kind of follows on quite nicely from the point I've made that your supplier, whether that's a job board or an ITS, is getting more benefit from that solution than you are. So in regards to, if I put it into kind of bit of a shopping analogy, so it's like having a shop window that you don't own, but then your products are in that shop window and you have no control over how they're displayed, how they're merchandised. Whereas with the Attract system, it allows you to kind of have that shop window, dress it up really nicely, have it working, working in a really slick and streamlined way. Whereas it just gives you so much more control if you have it, integrated into the Attract system rather than have your ATS just not integrated. It's just a big no for me.
I like the analogy of you have no control over where you put your products on the shelves and things like that. I think that's a good one. And the final one I just want to ask, is conscious of time, is it's quite topical at the moment. People are talking about the candidate experience. How do you think that your career site has helped or changed the candidate experience?
So previously it was a very transactional process for the candidate. You applied for a job, you weren't told anything apart from the advert about the company because it wasn't served up, in the advert in the way ATSs allow. They're very much one-dimensional. With the candidate experience from a Attract point of view, you can have your advert, but then you can also tailor content around that advert to so about talking about benefits or about key blogs or key things what are happening in the business, which you can't convey in an advert, but then the Attract system allows you to do that. Also, just from a digital experience, it's much easier to find jobs, and it's much easier. It's just a much nicer experience. And I think candidates, it's a candidate market that they can pick and choose, who they apply for. And if a process is clunky or long-winded, or you've got to go through 10 pages to even sign up or find a job, it puts people off. And I think the data and the stats just kind of show kind of how successful that has been, the candidate experience in regards to our conversion rates. And the number of pages people are viewing and the amount of time people are spending on the website has all gone up. So it's kind of a credit to the system, really.
Yeah, no, I've got you. Great, that's been really, really interesting. I've just had a question somebody's asked quite cheekily. Have you got the other speaker there? Can you put them on the show? Or have you put her out in the garden?
I don't know, meant so.
Brilliant. James, thank you so much for your time. It's been really enlightening. I hope that's been interesting for some people, and we'll be sharing the video afterwards. Thank you very much.